All right, guys, thank you so much for joining part 2. We are going to jump right into this video. In this video, we're going to start right ahead with this size crochet needle, size small. And what we're doing now is applying pieces of hair onto the front band of the crochet portion of the cap. As I mentioned in the previous video, having a grid go over that band would be really helpful, but because we don't have that, I am using this needle here to help to penetrate through that band much easier. So I penetrate the needle through that band, grab the hair, close the latch of the needle, and then using my thumb, I push that needle back out of the band. Make sure to pay attention to how much pressure I am applying. If I didn't use my thumb, it would be really hard to push that closed needle back out. So just watch how I do that, and I think that's going to be very helpful as far as getting that needle through. So I'm using a much smaller amount of hair than I did in the first video with the crochet portion. It is a lot more hair than I use with the ventilating portion. So right in between that is what you're looking for when crocheting this front part of your cap. What you're really just trying to do is cover up that black band. So we're using enough hair to cover up the black band, but not too much to where it's so bulky, because this is still the front of the hair, so we don't need a whole bunch of bulkiness. Again, check out my previous videos on how I crochet wigs for a closer look at my method. As I mentioned in part 1, there is a black band that goes around the cap as well as throughout the cap to section it off and structure it. I'm now taking hair and crocheting hair onto that black band to cover it up as best I can. I'm using about the same amount of hair that I used to cover up the band in the front. Because this band goes all the way around the front center part, I'm going to go all the way around that center part to cover it up as best I can. It's not going to cover it up completely, but I think it's going to cover it up enough. Once you untwist the hair, it'll be so full you won't see it. moving on to the next portion, we're going to return back to our ventilating part of the wig making process. Remember, we already started ventilating the center part, but now we're going to go ahead and cover up the front lace. The process is exactly the same. We're just moving now towards the ear on both sides. We've already created a guideline of our hairline, so it's going to be helpful with guiding you on how far down to go as well as how deep to go in. So yeah, you should already have a guide of how your hairline is so that you can kind of follow that guide all the way through this ventilating process. Remember, the density doesn't have to be so strong. You can definitely be a little bit lax with that, creating a more airy, natural look. As I mentioned in part 2, make sure to hold only a small amount of hair at a time while you're ventilating to keep the hair from tangling up. It is going to be much more helpful if you use less hair instead of trying to hold a whole bunch of hair at one time. You will waste hair if you hold too much hair because it will tangle, and it may get so tangled that it's no longer useful. So now you have to grab more hair and start over, and you'll just have like a pile of hair that's just wasted. Now this is synthetic hair, so of course it's not super expensive, but you know, why be wasteful if you don't have to be, you know? As I mentioned in part 1 as well, I will put a link to a ventilating YouTuber that I like because their video is much more detailed and they have a very nice close-up of the process that you might find helpful if you're new to ventilating. I've completed the full crocheting portion of this cap, as well as the ventilating portion of the lace. And with each portion complete, I twisted it as I went along. Now I'm just going to twist the last little portion of this wig and we are done. By following the grid of 4 up and 4 down, it creates a very clean, straight line part kind of look to the wig, so that it's nice and neat and sectioned. If you ever needed to retwist or restyle, you have a grid to follow, which is so great. A lot of crocheters aren't following a grid, so they just put in hair there, just wherever. And when it's time to like restyle it, redo it, it's just much more difficult to refresh it if it wasn't already structured to begin with. Having a structure just allows you to maintain it better, as well as refresh it, restyle it again, you know, there's a grid. It's like there's something to follow along with. So I love me a good grid. That's following my grid. I'm going to now attach my crochet hair and my laced hair together. You'll also see me work with the blow dryer. So I have a handheld blow dryer that already has it's almost like a brush blow dryer, which is wonderful for this. I'll have the link to that blow dryer in the description box below. I'm going to untwist the crochet portion of the front and then add the lace portion of that together, or the ventilated portion of that together, so that there's not like a major split or divide between the two. It's just a nice blend of the two. Also with this, because the hair is already attached to the wig, in order to not have too much tension on the hair, I'm going to wrap it around my finger and then brush the hair or blow dry the hair at the end, so that it's not tugging on the cap too much. But once it starts to loosen up and detangle, now I can kind of easily brush the hair. I have the setting on high, so it's quite a bit of heat being applied to it, so that it can straighten as fast as possible. But as you can see, it's not super duper straight. It is a blowout kind of look, which is nice. I imagine my mannequin head as tender-headed. I act like she's tender-headed. I treat her like she's tender-headed as best I can. So when I'm brushing her or when I'm blow drying, I'm holding her hair as close to the root as possible, so that I can take some of that tension away. And now using a grid, 4 up, 4 down, I divide the hair up and then twist it. Now I'm going to do that all the way through the whole front process, and that will complete the look. The last process I did not show, but it is important because that's how I finish all of my wigs. Not all of my wigs. It is important because I like to finish my wigs this way. I like to curl the ends, and that just helps to kind of give the hair a nice little pop, so it's not like a dull finish at the end. Sometimes you can leave it like that at the end if you want, but in this video I definitely curled the ends, and you will see that now. Now, if you aren't familiar with how I curl synthetic hair, I do have videos on that, so please go check those videos out. They are helpful with just managing synthetic hair under heat, so definitely check that out. And that is it, guys. We got a hairline, we got a center part, we got twists, we have curls at the end. We are done. On the mannequin, you can definitely still see the spacings through the cap, but once the hair is untwisted, you will not be able to see that. It will be very, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. It will be very nice. But yes, so that is how I did that. I did also add a couple of smaller pieces of hairs to the baby hairs as well, so that all of them weren't super long, just some shorter pieces of baby hairs to kind of add to that natural illusion. Now, I'm not going to play with this wig too much, unfortunately. I will do another video now that I know that I like this cap. I will order some more and do another video. This one was made for someone else, so I didn't want to play with it too much, but I will show you how it looks on just a little bit. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much for watching both part 1 and part 2. I know it was long, but you guys stuck with it, and here we are at the finish line. If you would like more information on that particular cap, if you want to try it out for yourself, I will have the link in the description box below. Try it out for yourself. Let me know how you like it. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, peace. I know I'm supposed to be showing off this hair, but I like this one too. I really like this style. So look. Isn't it cute? I love it. Bye, guys.